Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. As you know, I like to keep things light and I like to keep things fun on this channel. I usually review movies, action figures and comics, and it's that latter thing that has made me decide I'm going to do this video. Now, even if you never picked up a comic book, even if you're not a comic book aficionado, you know who Stan Lee is. Stan Lee was the godfather of comics. He was a titan among comic book creators. He was the driving force behind Marvel. You've probably seen him cameo in all the Marvel movies, and sadly he passed away at the age of 95, and there has been nothing but an outpouring of love and appreciation for the man from a massively wide generation. From 14 to 40 people have read his comics. People have learned to read from reading his comics. People have decided to pursue occupations because of his comics. People have wanted to be astronauts because of the Fantastic Four, or join the army because of Captain America. That's such a profound effect that Stan Lee has had on people. Bill Maher has come out and said, "Thanks a lot, Stan Lee. You've given us a generation of man children who can't function in the real world, that they have trouble adulting. I read comics. I own an apartment. I go out, I do work, I have a job, I pay bills, I can function. I'm not intellectually impaired because I read comics. I write, I create. My housemate is a comic book creator, a very talented one. Another friend of mine, Anthony, is a comic book creator. We're not fucking intellectually impaired. We live our lives, we do our jobs, we exist, we function. Sure, we collect comics, we collect action figures, but we don't let that impede in our life. I mean, there are some comics out there for adults. There are comics out there with a profound story to tell. They're not just kids' comics. There are comics for kids, and there's some great comics for kids, but they're not solely a child's thing. You have to remember, the first documented language, the first documented kind of transcript of language was pictures, cave paintings, hieroglyphics, all a form of language, all a form of communication. If you want to talk about profound and interesting stories, read Art Spiegelman's Mouse. He done a story about his grandfather's harrowing experience in a concentration camp. As not to upset his father, he changed the humans into different brands of animals. The Jews were mice and the Nazis were cats. Jason Aaron's The Other Side. Fantastic story about two opposing forces in Vietnam, a young GI and a young Vietnamese soldier. And it shows the dichotomy of them, but it also shows the similarities. Fantastic story. Jason Aaron does an amazing job. Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Neil Gaiman's Sandman is fantastic. It is like abstract art in story form. It's amazing. I have a graphic novel on Victor Hugo, The Man Who Laughs. I don't think you tell a classical story in disposable trash. Comics are not trash. Comics are not for children. People who read comics are not intellectually impaired. That is an insult to say that. That is a fucking insult to say that about someone like he even doubled down and said, "Oh, it's because of comic book readers that Trump was elected." Maybe some people who read comics, voted for Trump. Maybe people who fucking drink milk voted for Trump. I don't see you going after them. Regardless, people who read comics aren't stupid. That is a savagely sweeping generalization. Bill Maher shouldn't be even saying that. The guy is like in a glass house throwing stones. He starred in House 2. I love House 2. Really zany, silly horror. But it's not fucking Lawrence of Arabia. So, yeah, Bill Maher, just have a think before you fucking say something stupid. There are quite intelligent people out there who read graphic novels. There are people who've gone on to do fantastic works in science, in art, in literature. Some of the greatest pulp writers, some of the greatest writers started off writing pulp. Robert Bloch, Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft. They all wrote fantastic tales, and back in the day they were considered trash. So yeah, I think he is an idiot. I think he's a dick. I think he is incredibly obnoxious for saying that. But what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. My name's Martin. This has been a Trash Picture Show, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.